Good morning, Westerons!
And welcome to our Morning Throners podcast.
I'm Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Glow.
And I'm Kyle.
With a fucking Morning Throners.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Morning Throners podcast. We're here talking Tyrion 3, and we're starting to get into the thick of things. Don't forget to smash that like button or leave us a comment or review. We're also on Twitter at Morning Throners. We love when our fans reach out to us, so don't be afraid to come talk to your favorite Throner, which is probably me. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Doing great.
As it typically goes, we'll be starting with the spoiler-free section in the beginning, and then afterwards Kyle will be leaving us, and we'll be doing the spoiler section to discuss some shit that happens in the later books.
Which episode we doing, or which chapter we doing today, Glow?
Tyrion 3, my friend.
All right, let's get into it. Jeff, where we at?
All right, so we're starting in the mess hall in Castle Black. Tyrion's and the guys, the fellas, the big fellas, are all eating crab legs that have just shipped over from Eastwatch.
They're fucking crushing crab legs.
Tyrion's making cracking jokes at everyone. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's roasting everybody. He cooks Alistair.
So they're having, I don't know if they never really say it's for this, but Tyrion's leaving the next day, so I don't know if they're having like a big meal before.
No,
Tyrion
it says
leaves.
it here. I mean, well, not because of that, I guess, but it says that.
Yeah,
he's
that's what I'm
leaving.
saying. But they're kind of having like a big meal. And it's not just Tyrion, because like the Yoren, one of the guys who was on the way up with them, with Jon, the guy who like had the rapers, he's going back down south to look for more recruits. So maybe they're having a big feast for him because he's about to leave too. But yeah, it seems like they're having like a bigger feast than normal.
It seems like they like Tyrion too.
It might
Except
be
for
like
Alistair.
goodbye. Did we say that already? Like a farewell?
Yeah,
That's what we're saying. Yeah, for either Tyrion or Yoren.
or both.
Mormont says like he's sad to see Tyrion's leaving, and Tyrion jokes at like Jaime. He's like, "Oh, Jaime, thought I joined the Night's Watch by now." And then Mormont says like, "Oh, we could use men like you on the wall." And Tyrion jokes that he'll send all the Dwarf CCs up to take the Black.
That was a good
and
one.
then everyone laughs, but Alistair's like, "You're mocking us."
Yeah, he's such a pussy.
Well,
Alistair is a pussy, dude.
I have a quote here. Glow, I'm asking a lot of you. I need you to be a really good Tyrion voice.
How would
like
you
a
like
really
that,
weird-
sir? Would you like it a little bit like this?
No, like weird and impish.
Impish.
Like, ha, like that almost. Ha.
Do you think that's
not as cartoony, but kind of like that. Like somewhere
Why?
between
The
two.
crabs
What I
are
did
here.
and what you did.
Oh,
Yeah, like
the
that. That'd
crabs
be
are
good.
Here. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
that'd be good. Don't fall back into your normal thing, though.
Oh, crabs, my lord. I will stab you with my fork.
How about them crabs there? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, you're the Raven.
Yes.
I'll be narrator, and Jeff,
My
you can
part.
be Alistair.
This is
yeah.
the part.
Do I go full Batman on him? You have a bold tongue for someone who is less than half a man.
Yeah, see, that's good.
Okay, we're starting with only you. We're starting with only you, Sir Alistair.
No, have Sir Alistair start with Lannister Moxus.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, Jeff. I'll start as the narrator.
Where the fuck are you?
Sir Alistair Thorne,
First page
is
of the
only
chapter.
man at the table. Don't worry, you have one fucking line. It's duel, and a raven squawk. You'll know when we're there. All right, ready? Sir Alistair Thorne was the only man at the table who did not so much as crack a smile.
Lannister mocks us.
Only you, Sir Alistair.
Tyrion said. This time the laughter around the table had nervous, uncertain quality to it. Thorne's black eyes fixed on Tyrion with loathing.
You have a bold tongue for someone who is less than half a man. Perhaps you and I should visit the yard together.
Why?
Asked Tyrion.
The crabs are here.
The remark brought more goughs from the others. Sir Alistair stood up, his mouth a tight line.
Come and make your japes with steel in your hand.
Tyrion looked pointedly at his right hand.
Why, I have steel in my hand, Sir Alistair, although it appears to be a crab fork. Shall we duel?
He hopped up on his chair and began poking at Thorne's chest with his tiny fork. Roars of laughter filled the tower room. Bits of crab flew from Lord Commander's mouth as he began to gasp and choke. Even his raven joined in, cawing loudly from above the window.
Duel!
All right. So Tyrion is just... So, also, think about
He's
this.
cooking it,
Jeff,
man.
how old is Tyrion?
Tyrion's what, like...
Is he 30-something? 35?
Jeff?
He's seen 9 winners, so he's got to be decently old, I would say.
Winners, it's
At least 20. At least 27.
He's got to be 40 then.
He's
at
24
least.
here.
He's 24. How does he see 9 winners?
I don't know. The winners are like every other year. That's what we're gonna talk about that later.
That was going to be my question.
This is the first chapter where they really talk about the seasons like that. So we're gonna talk about that later. But yeah, right now he's 24. So think about that. He's 24 and just like talking back. I mean, you like obviously he's of high birth, which is what gives him like this privilege. But he's kind of just being like a snotty little.
Oh yeah,
But he is a snotty little. That's who he is.
Yeah, but
He's a Lannister.
it makes me like him less knowing he's younger. Like if he was older, I feel
well, he
like
can
he
get away
earned
with
it,
shit
you know?
too.
Yeah, but,
How
about
but
that
these
way?
guys do
Alistair?
like him. They obviously like him. They're laughing at his jokes. They like being around him. They think he's smart, or Lord Commander at least thinks he's smart.
No, they think he's fucking funny because he is a dwarf standing up to a fucking
Yeah,
knight.
he's like poking
And
him in the
they're
chest
like,
with a
wow,
fork.
this
He's
dude's-
doing like jester type shit
yeah,
to get laughs. It's like
exactly.
slapstick
They're
shit.
laughing at
yeah.
him. They're laughing at him, not with him for sure.
And I do like Tyrion, but I just feel like knowing how young he is and just he's like fucking my age doing this shit. It's like I don't know. He's just if I did that, I'd feel like an asshole doing that to like an elder.
Well, you're not
I don't know, man.
freakishly short.
That's true.
You're
It's
just
the
massive.
it's the opposite way around. But
Freakishly massive.
so this pisses Alistair off. He's out. Deuces
You
Tyrion.
little bitch.
And what's Tyrion do as soon as Alistair leaves?
To the victor goes the spoils.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he steals his crabs.
She's like, I get all
yeah.
Alistair's portion of crabs.
Lannister style. I mean, basically, Tyrion's just saying how he doesn't think Alistair's actually a really good like knight or anything. But
Well, so did he fight on the Targaryen side? Is that what
Alistair
this
did.
was?
Yeah, later,
Yeah.
later Jeremy
him
Riker says
and
that. Jeremy
who was the
Riker.
other one? Riker.
Yeah.
But Riken was ugly, and he should have put his head on
No, it couldn't have been Riker. Because he's the one here. He said,
Was he ugly?
it. Nah, it said like, oh, your head would look great on a spike. My
Tyrion,
dad probably would have
Tyrion
loved
says
it.
that to Riker.
He says the face is noble as yours, so I think it. I mean, I don't think he's not ugly. No homo.
This is what he said. On the wrong side, Sir Jeremy Riker commented dryly. I ought to know. I was there on the battlements beside him.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And they just talk about how they were Tyrion or Tywin said like, take the black or put your head on the spike.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's like,
Yeah.
no offense to Tyrion, and Tyrion's like, my father likes heads on spikes.
Yeah.
Your face would look great on one outside of the king's wall.
So here's my next quote.
So then he okay, go ahead.
Next quote. Glow. It starts with, "Oh, I think that Lord Tywin is quite a large man." Maester Aemon. Oh, this is Maester Aemon. So Kyle, you got Maester Aemon now.
Who am I?
Jeff, you can be Bill Marsh, I guess. As Riker filled his cup for him, Bowen Marsh said,
You have a great thirst for a small man.
Oh, I think that Lord Tyrion is quite a large man.
Maester Aemon said from the far end of the table. He spoke softly, yet the high officers of the Night's Watch all fell quiet, the better to hear what the ancient had to say.
I think he is a giant come among us, here at the end of the world.
Tyrion answered gently.
I've been called many things, my lord. Giant is seldom one of them.
Nonetheless,
Maester Aemon said as his clouded, milk-white eyes moved to Tyrion's face.
I think it is true.
For once, Tyrion Lannister found himself at a loss for words. He could only bow his head politely and say,
You are too kind, Maester Aemon.
The blind man smiled. He was a tiny thing, wrinkled and hairless, shrunken beneath the weight of 100 years, so his maester's collar with its lengths of many metals hung loose around his throat.
I have been called many things, my lord,
He said.
but kind is seldom one of them.
This time Tyrion himself led the laughter.
Was that just a good quote because it talks about Maester Aemon?
No.
It's just weird. Maester Aemon's calling
A
him
giant among us.
a giant, and they call Maester Aemon kind. Or he says Maester Aemon's kind, and they both say something they've never heard, which makes sense for Tyrion, but kind for Maester Aemon. I mean, I guess we don't really know anything about Maester Aemon. Three of us do, but it seemed weird to me.
Still, I don't know.
Kyle, do you have anything to say about it? If not, we can move on.
I mean, really, it's just like he's saying, Tyrion, although he's a little dude, he brings, like, I mean, he can do great things because
Didn't the first John
Like, he's
chapter end like that too?
pursues so much.
He had a giant
and-
shadow. For a moment, his
Yeah.
shadow stood like a
Yeah,
giant.
and-
Well, I think it was as
and-
big as for like a. It said like as Tyrion was going back into the hall. It said like for a moment his shadow
was as big as a king's or
Tyrion
something
Lannister
like
stood as
that.
big as a king or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, I mean, alluding to the fact that he's bigger than just his stature, for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
So that's the last part before like basically everybody leaves except for Mormont pulls up two chairs to the fire and asks I don't know if he asked Tyrion to stay, but like him and Tyrion stay behind, and he gets Tyrion some
He
strong
gives him some wine,
alcohol.
yeah.
Probably some whiskey.
Mold.
Probably some whiskey.
Lord Mormont wants Tyrion to go back to his dad and to his queen and to the king and be like, look, we really need men. Winter's coming, bitch, and we've got like 600 people total. We don't even have enough at Eastwatch or Storm's End, and like winter's coming.
3 people per mile. That was pretty.
3 1/4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 1/3 per mile.
And like
Yeah.
at first he like Mormont doesn't even like straight up ask Tyrion this. He like beats around the bush and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna send like a bunch of swords down with you to Winterfell to make sure you're like really safe."
And Tyrion's like, well,
And
why
that's
is he
when
being all
Tyrion-
nice all of a sudden?
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh fuck, he wants something." All right, next one. Jeff, you're Mormont now.
Okay. Do we need to do all the quotes? Do our fans like the quotes?
Our fans love the quotes.
Where are we at?
I sent Benjen Stark to search after Jon Royce's son. Okay, yeah, Jeff, just start. Jeff's gonna start as Mormont, and Glow is Tyrion.
Mormont scarcely seemed to hear him. The old man warmed his hands by the fire.
I sent Benjen Stark to search after Jon Royce's son, lost on his first ranging. The Royce boy was green as summer's grass, yet he insisted on the honor of his own command, saying he was as due as a knight. I did not wish to offend his lord father, so I yielded. I sent him out with 2 men I deemed as good as any in the watch. More fool I.
Fool! The raven agreed. Tyrion glanced up. The bird peered down at him with those beady black eyes, ruffling its wings. Fool! It called again. Doubtless old Mormont would take it amiss if he throttled the creature. A pity. The Lord Commander took no notice of the irritating bird.
Garrett was near as old as I am, and longer on the wall.
He went on.
Yet it would seem he foresaw himself, and fled. I should never have believed it, not of him. The Lord had sent me his head from Winterfell. Of Royce there is no word. 1 deserter and 2 men lost. Now Ben Stark too has gone missing.
He sighed deeply.
Who am I to send searching after him? In 2 years I will be 70. Too old and too weary for the burden I bear. Yet if I set it down, who will pick it up? Alistair Thorne? Bowen Marsh? I would have to be as blind as Mr. Aemon not to see what they are. The Night's Watch has become an army of sullen boys and tired old men. Apart from the men at my table tonight, I have perhaps 20 who can read, and even fewer who can think, or plan, or lead. Once the watch spent its summers building, and each Lord Commander raised the wall higher than he found it. Now it is all we can do to stay alive.
Jeff, great job, buddy.
That was good. I like your
Thanks.
Mormont.
Really
Killed it.
good.
Yeah.
All right,
I'll have to remember it for next time.
Fucking crushed it, dude.
So the obvious part of this chapter is, or this like passage is, they need more men. They don't have enough people. But the other part is Mormont doesn't know who's going to be like in charge after he's gone.
Yeah, because he's like 70, yeah.
So I get there's 600 people here, and we only know a handful of them. Like even the guys who we heard like one word of today, Bowen Marsh.
But it sounds like we know most of the important ones, or at least the ones that can like fucking
The ones who
read
are hanging out with
or
the Lord Commander.
be
yeah.
military.
And what I think he says later, what they only have like 20 people who can actually read.
He says other than the
Yeah,
men in the...
And less that can think.
We said other than the men in the room, so it's probably like 26 or 27.
okay. Yeah, so still.
Okay.
How many people were in the room earlier?
It doesn't really say.
I think you're probably right with like
what
6
I
or
was thinking.
I
7.
think it's probably just like a long table. But yeah, so that's up, and then the other thing is the bird. We forgot to talk about it before, but the bird yells what?
Duel!
Duty,
Duel
duty.
and fool.
Duel, and then fool, fool, fool. So yeah, like Kyle mentioned the first time that we saw the bird, like it said like something, and you're like, oh, this bird can talk, and we're like, kinda. It like says like words sometimes, and people think it's important, but nobody ever.
Well, so what's
I don't
weird? Like, why was Tyrion wanting to throttle the bird? Was he just annoyed by it? Was he
Because it's
threatened
annoying.
by it?
Just 'cause it's
Because it's
annoying.
It
up
was,
there
like,
just
mocking
yelling
the
at
old
shit.
man.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
making fun of the old man.
Just sitting up there yelling.
Fool!
So then Tyrion actually does feel bad, and he promises to talk to everybody, but he like doesn't say it. He says out loud like I promise, but he doesn't say what
He knows
what
it. Yeah, it's not going to do anything.
That no, real.
Yeah, his family's
Nothing's gonna
bullshit.
change,
You know,
yeah.
they're a bunch of dicks.
So the next part is what we were talking about earlier, the winners thing. So Kyle, what did you think when you read this? Because I don't
Well,
know
I
if
mean,
they mentioned
I-
this at all yet.
I knew it obviously. So I feel like there was another one where they were talking about how the summer was super long and like long winters and like so. It felt like it could change.
But that
like,
like
I
a long
don't-
winter could be like 8 months versus 4 months summer, right? This is like years. We're
Okay.
talking about here. Well, they say Tyrion's seen 9 winters and he's
Yeah.
24, so it's at least like one every 2 years.
Yeah. Well,
Or
that's I
each
guess
one lasts for a year or something like that. Right?
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe. There's
Well, they were talking about how a super long one is going to come up here soon. He's like, this is like one we've never seen. It's going to be longer than ever. It's going to
Mormont
be
says like that's what
worse
he
than
heard as
ever.
a kid, right? He heard that a long summer meant a long winter, and that this
Yeah,
summer
yeah.
has been 9 years. So think about it. Tyrion's 24. Say he's 24. 9 years means it's been summer since he was 15. So
How do you
15.
see 9 winters?
That's it. In between his 0 and 15, like think about it. In between 0 and 15, you see 15 winters. Tyrion saw 9, so we saw about
Well, that's
half.
because we live in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, like
I mean,
it
if
could
we
be
lived
like
somewhere else, it would be less.
imagine if winter was like actually like our winter, like it was just 3 months or like 30.
But
you know,
this could be something like as simple as a year summer, a year winter, a year summer, a year winter, a year long summer, a year long winter. That would add up to about this, to about 9 winters.
okay.
But he says
Wouldn't that just mean they were counting their years wrong? And that
I
it
don't
should have
know.
been
I guess.
2 years.
I don't know
Like,
how the year.
I mean, we don't even know if they have like a new year.
How do you know
They
he's
just have
24?
days.
because when
They
you
just
can't.
talk fortnights and moons.
I don't know. It's there. It's somewhere. It's in my notes, so it's true. It comes from somewhere.
Okay.
All right. Again, it's a minuscule detail. They've got a lot. Winter and
George
summer
told him
are
when he was
completely
giving him a
different at
BJ
times.
the other day.
But he said when he asked Tyrion says 8 or 9. I misremember, and Mormont says all of them shorts, which means it's probably not year. It's probably like year and a half, 6 months, or something like that.
It
if
could
it's
be
when it's
what
regular.
it could be a month. We don't even know.
But it's
just be-
clearly not regular because this summer's been 9 years.
Right.
Correct.
But Tyrion was also born in the middle of some horrible winter, but he says he doesn't remember anything until it was spring. So yeah, then Mormont says what Kyle said, where it's like when it's a long summer, it's supposed to be a long winter. So he's basically saying like we're gonna be fucked if we don't get more men soon. But Tyrion kind of jokes and just says that he heard that if the men were good to the gods, that the gods would grant a summer that never end, and maybe like they're there.
Maybe
This
the
is
summer.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mormont says that he knows that Tyrion isn't dumb enough to believe that, and that there are more dangerous things beyond the wall. And he says
Days are going shorter.
he talks about like bears and like actual things, but then he says like the fisherman at Eastwatch has seen White Walkers, and Tyrion says, well, the fishermen in Lannisport have seen Merlings.
Yeah.
Lannisport's like the port near where Tyrion grew up, Kyle. So
Okay.
he's basically just saying like, yeah, people say crazy shit everywhere.
Yeah, they see. Yeah,
Yeah,
they go nuts there at the
Yeah,
ports.
like,
They
you
get
can't
bored
always-
and they see things.
yeah, and basically saying like you can't always believe what people say. So that he just ignores that, and then he says that he hears from the Shadow Tower, the commander of the Shadow Tower, Dennis Mallister, that there's a lot of wildling mountain people coming through the mountains on that side, past that side of the wall too. And he says that he thinks they're running from something, but he doesn't know what they're running from. And he tells Tyrion, he's like, seriously, dude, I need you to talk to people and get me some people up here.
Like, you need to understand this
Yeah.
is an actual like. There's
He Mormont brings up his dreams, and Tyrion's like, "Yeah, in your dreams, dude."
yeah.
and
The crazy part is though, like, all right, even if Tyrion believes him, like, what are they gonna do? Just go down and start saying like, oh, you gotta fucking go to the wall. Like, you don't have a choice. Like, I guess they could send every prisoner that they have, but it's not like they have prisoners of war.
But if you
like
get
the
Robert
last time.
behind it, the king, right? You can give like an incentive.
send
you can,
actual knights and shit. Yeah,
you can be like
I
every
mean,
realm that make it like a kingdom thing, right? Like if the North gets like 50 people to go to the wall every year, they pay 5% less taxes, or every lord that sends a son to the wall gets this many acres of land. Like that's what Robert could do. Tywin, I guess, could do something similar for just people in his like area. I don't know who else. Jamie, I don't know what Jamie could do really.
All right, but really, like, are people gonna be like, oh fuck yeah, like I can't wait, like get the fuck
well,
up there?
yeah. I mean, people join the military.
Well, also at this point, yeah, no one believes anything's happening.
No one believes anything's up there. They think they're wasting their fucking time.
And we all know that
I mean,
there's
but
something
I don't
weird
get how they
going
didn't
on.
believe that before. It's been 1,000 years. How do people not believe that like before?
Because it was just a thing. Like, it was, I don't know, it became less honorable. Those people died. The generations change. Think about how generational ideas change now.
Yeah,
Okay,
I guess like
boomer.
if a huge attack came and it actually like fucked up the kingdoms, that then everybody'd be like, oh fuck, we need to be there
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, something
right
hasn't
now-
happened for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
It's not like we're afraid of fucking a T-Rex running through our house.
Yeah. And I guess at this point, a lot of people probably think it's like something that was built up and then never was used, right? Because people don't even believe there were ever White Walkers, or do they? People believe that they were around back
Probably like the
then?
Northmen.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
some people
imagine
think
that,
they're
yeah, other
actually
than-
believed, but
All right. Tyrion says he's gonna help him, and then he's like, all right, I gotta go.
Yeah, so he excuses himself. He goes outside. It's really freaking cold. And then all of a sudden he gets a weird urge to look up the wall or to go up on the wall one more time. So he rides the winch up to the top. So Kyle,
Well, it's like,
He could have walked.
yeah. Well,
read
he wasn't
the
feeling
quote
it.
about the wall. What he sees when he's up there.
It was bitingly cold up here, and the wind pulled at his clothes like an insistent lover. The top of the wall was wider than the King's Road often was, so Tyrion had no fear of falling, although the footing was slicker than he would have liked. The brothers spread crushed stone across the walkways, but the weight of countless footsteps would melt the wall beneath, so the ice would seem to grow around the gravel, swallowing it, until the path was bare again, and it was time to crush more stone. Still, it was nothing that Tyrion could not manage. He looked off to the east and west at the wall stretching beyond him, a vast white road with no beginning and no end, and a dark abyss on either side. West, he decided, for no special reason, and he began to walk that way, following the pathway nearest the north edge where the gravel looked freshest.
Just like it would be fucking
It
crazy.
sounds, insane. Like I was a little, you feel it a little bit,
Because they said it.
you're a
Well,
little
they said in
anxious.
the last chapter that when they were down below, that John said it was like as wide,
Well,
so wide that 12 horsemen could ride across.
You skip past it, but fuck that crane ride up, man. Like that sounds terrifying.
I don't know. I didn't think it'd be that bad.
The basket's not even secure. It's like
swinging. Yeah, fuck that.
It's a lot
dude.
scarier than what it is in the show, for
The
sure.
thing is, they make it sound unsturdy, but when you have something that's been that's gone up and down that many times without failing, like it's like being on a roller coaster. Like sometimes you get on a roller coaster, it's just like a wooden old ass roller coaster. You're like, this thing's a fucking death trap, but like nobody's died on it yet, or it wouldn't be here, so it has to be okay. That's like my point of like, how can you be scared of
after
something like
time, shit gets worse.
Yeah, dude.
Right,
Like,
but I don't
you've
know.
been on a roller
I
coaster.
play the odds.
Sometimes
How tall is the wall? A couple 100 feet?
you need
that?
maintenance.
Mormont probably takes that thing up. Mormont has to weigh like 3 times Tyrion. Tyrion's a little dude. It'll be fine, and it works in frigid weathers. I think he's fine.
It sounds terrifying.
I don't know. It
terrifying.
didn't seem like it would bug me. I mean, I guess 700 feet we said is the size of like a tall skyscraper in Philly, and like you're exposed to the elements. That's not good. If it was
And
like
it's fucking
encased, so you
swinging.
couldn't- yeah.
Like
it's
it's
really
blowing
something
back
else.
and
Yeah, it might
forth.
be a little scary.
Like
It might be a
fuck
little
that,
scary.
dude. It sounds
It's fucking.
terrifying.
It gets fucking high up there, dude.
It's probably like slamming against the side and shit.
All you
like-
hear
Like,
is
I
creaking
think they had, like,
the
a
whole
VR
time.
Yeah.
They had like a VR experience of like being up on the wall, and I don't know if it was like realistic to the book or it was probably more like exactly what the show was. But if they had one like it was like the book, that would be fucking.
There's
sick.
a game where you put a 2x4 on your floor,
Yeah, I've seen that.
and then you walk out on it, and that's a little freaky.
Have you done
And
that?
then, yeah,
I've seen YouTube videos, but I've never done that.
we downloaded it at my brother's. Yeah, I'm now tangent, obviously, but don't or keep talking and nobody explodes. Awesome game. I don't know if that's on PlayStation View or not.
Yeah, I
You
think
should get that. You should totally play that.
Glow, me and you can play it tomorrow.
Keep talking and no one explodes. What games are we playing tomorrow?
Yeah.
Nels? Are we?
Play
No
that.
game.
Anyway.
Let's go.
Yeah, no, I know. So like he's up there and then he runs into John like accidentally. Like he doesn't seem like that's where
Yeah,
he's
he
up
wasn't
there, at
planning
least.
on seeing him.
Runs into Ghost first,
Someone calls
and
him.
then
Someone calls halt, and he like knows who it is immediately. He's like, "Hi,
Yeah.
Ghost."
I mean,
Yeah.
Well, he hears his voice and sees
John
the
might
voice.
have
his Batman.
I'll freeze in
voice.
place, John. That's what he said. If I hold too long, I'll freeze in place, John.
Yeah, and that's even like what John says later that like they told him that if he stands still, his blood will freeze.
Yeah.
Which is probably just a way to keep the young recruits from like being lazy and not walking the
Yeah.
wall. But
I mean, I'm sure it could happen. It's fucking freezing, and they're how high up in the air.
And
That
they're
sounds
super
like
bundled up.
insane. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that.
yeah, so
Hypothermia is going to kick in at some point
Gotta keep moving.
dude, just being up there would be crazy.
if they're not by a fire.
Aren't
and
there
they're just-
fires up there? Didn't Tyrion say? Oh, there was a fire in the guardhouse.
In the guardhouse, yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's walking the wall. I'm sure
Yeah.
there might be like a torch every.
He also
like
said there was a
10 yards
huge
or so,
catapult
but-
there. A
A
catapult the
huge-
size of a castle wall.
That's just
But it was like
broken
Yeah,
it was being like worked on.
and they just
But
never
yeah.
fixed it.
and now covered in ice.
Yeah, it's being worked on forever. It's never getting
Fuckers.
fixed.
So
All right, so they
Tyr-
walk.
Tyrion asked to pet Ghost, and Ghost is tall, like up to Tyrion's chest. So Tyrion's like 4'11". So Ghost is what, like 3.5 feet tall now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right around.
That's freaking
Luke.
tall as big.
Where's
That's got to be
Luke?
bigger than
That's
Luke,
big
right?
dog. Yeah, Luke's probably like 2.5.
2.5? Really?
Luke might be. Luke's pretty big.
Glow, how tall are you? You're like 4 feet, so it's like almost as tall as Glow.
Yeah.
Glow, are you
I
shorter
don't like
than
that
me?
joke, guys. I take
Close.
offense to it.
Is
I like
he
tall
shorter than
jokes
me,
more than
Nelson?
I like short jokes. I'm 5.
Who's how? Everybody say your height on 3.
5,
1,
7 and
2,
3
3, 6,
quarters.
7.
5'11".
Yeah, I'm around there. Yeah, we're like the same height.
Nice.
Glow.
I like it.
I'm like, man, I might be like 5'6".
My nephew
I don't know.
is taller than me now. And I'm like, oh, god damn it.
Don't stand next to me, man.
Yeah, right.
Like, go over there.
Oh, dude.
So okay, next part they start walking, and John explains why he thinks is getting so much night duty lately. What's he say?
That Sir Alistair is telling the guy who's on shift duty to give him night shift.
Why?
He has to wake up and train though in the morning, so he's trying to slow
Well,
him
he
down.
wants him to fall asleep during class.
Oh yeah, he'll be shitty during training. Yeah.
And he's still just fucking everybody up. And he's teaching the other recruits to be better too.
He's
Well, yeah, I
teaching
was
Gran
gonna
and
say it
Pip.
sounds like he's taking the lead now. Yeah.
When does he sleep?
He doesn't. John doesn't
They
need
just
to sleep.
don't. Sleep's
Sleeps for the
overrated.
week.
Sleep is a learned habit.
It is.
All right,
That's
so
not true.
I believe
last
that.
quote I have
That is not true.
is them talking.
Boost is overrated in Rock League. Sleep is overrated in life.
No,
I agree
try
with
and
Jeff.
go without sleep, man. You have to sleep. It's natural. Everything.
Nelson
sleeps.
stayed up
Your
for like
pets fucking
88
sleep.
hours in
It's
a
not
row.
learned. Yeah, with the fucking
And I got a bunch
coffee.
of finals
Lots
done.
of coffee.
Lots of coffee.
Yeah.
All right,
habit.
next quote. I plan to stop at Winterfell.
Who's John?
You.
Okay.
And Kyle can be narrator again, 'cause he's better than me.
I plan to stop at Winterfell on the way south. If there is any message that you would like me to deliver.
Tell Rob that I'm going to command the Night's Watch and keep them safe. So he might as well take up needlework with the girls and have Micken melt down his sword for horseshoes.
Your brother is bigger than me.
Tyrion said with a laugh.
I decline to deliver any message that might get me killed.
Rickon will ask when I'm coming home. Try to explain where I've gone, if you can. Tell him he can have all my things while I'm away. He'll like that.
People seem to be asking a great deal of him today, Tyrion Lannister thought.
You could put this all in a letter, you know.
Rickon can't read yet. Bran,
He stopped suddenly.
I don't know what message to send Bran. Help him, Tyrion.
What help could I give him? I am no maester to ease his pain. I have no spells to give him back his legs.
You gave me help when I needed it.
Jon Snow said.
I gave you nothing. Words.
Then give your words to Bran too.
You're asking a lame man to teach a cripple how to dance. However sincere the lesson, the result is likely to be grotesque. Still, I know what it is to love a brother, Lord Snow. I will give Bran whatever small help is in my power.
Thank you, my Lord of Lannister.
He pulled off his glove and offered his bare hand.
Friend.
Tyrion found himself oddly touched.
Most of my kin are bastards,
He said with a wry smile.
but you're the first I've had to friend.
He pulled a glove off with his teeth and clasped Snow by the hand. Flesh against flesh, the boy's grip was firm and strong.
That's good. So, first off, doesn't kin mean family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he says,
Yeah, but
It could also
but
be just
it-
like who you hang around.
yeah, like who you
Well,
relate
it's like
to.
brother.
Friends.
He's like, yeah, calling you a brother.
but he says most of my kin are bastards. But Jaime and Cersei aren't bastards. And there's
Well,
only
I think he meant
maybe-
like a joke.
Maybe they
like,
are
oh, like,
bastards. They're a bunch of fucking bastards.
Oh, gotcha.
Like,
or
That.
he meant like whores, right? Like I'm fucking like all the
Or-
whores are bastards.
banging each
Goddamn.
other. Maybe. Oh, yeah, maybe that's true.
Like the
Like,
whores
yeah.
are just people that were
Or like the
fucked
people
by
he
other
hangs
whores.
with
Or,
are
Yeah, all
bastards,
the
you know?
time. Yeah.
Most of my kin, like most of the people
Yeah,
I
I
chill
guess
with,
that's true.
like y'all are my kin. Y'all.
But
are my
it's just weird because
bastards.
kin is like kind of like if like kin and friend are like almost synonyms.
In this sense, yes.
Well, but he's using them to not be. He's saying most of my bastards are kins, but you're a bastard. That's a friend.
I gotcha.
It
Yeah,
would
yeah.
make sense, but they're kind of the same thing, but not. But yeah.
I understand.
But yeah, this is like where they kind of, even though they've, I don't know, their relationship so far has been kind of weird. They never really like see eye to eye, but John's clearly learning stuff.
Because John's taller than him.
Well, John's what, 14?
John's learning from him. Do you think
I was making
Tyrion's
it. That
learning
was a
anything
joke,
from him?
Nelson.
You were making a joke, but they're probably close. John's probably a little bit. I think they said in the first John chapter that he's a little bit taller than Tyrion, but not a lot.
Yeah.
But John's learning a lot
He's-
from Tyrion because Tyrion's like the only person that's telling John how it is.
Like, yeah, he's definitely being real with him.
And it's funny here how even Tyrion, he like offers to do something nice for John. Like, if you want me to deliver a message, but before he can even finish saying deliver me a message, John's already like, tell Rob this, tell Rick on this. And Tyrion's
Yeah.
like, can you put this in a letter? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I didn't really want to help you that much.
not
I thought
make me
it was
do
gonna be
this?
like, yeah, tell him I said hi.
Yeah.
It was just like a nice gesture.
Yeah. Anything anything else about the passage?
Nah, I mean, I think it was like John was kind of like fucking around with Rob. I think that just kind of plays into their
I think
relationship.
Tyrion kind of understood at the end, though. That's what I would say. He says he feels oddly touched, and like he.
So what do you think he's gonna tell Bran? Because here John says you gave me help.
I
when
don't know. I
needed it."
mean, so like, is he involved in the murder plot? Who knows, right?
If he was, it's fucking ballsy going back to Winterfell after he knows what happened.
Yeah, that's true. That's a true statement. But I mean, he's about to get screwed there when he stops there. It sounds like.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
the
know.
people, because Kat told. No, because they didn't know it was Littlefinger's dagger till she got to King's Landing. So at Winterfell, do they even know
Wait,
it was
is this
Tyrion yet?
happening? When is this happening? Is this during that?
Let me check my
Like, is she
timeline.
there?
It's probably right around the same time that she's there.
What if it's while she's traveling and nobody knows?
It's a week after Kat. It's a week after Kat learns it's his dagger. But do you think she sent that in a raven?
Probably. Why wouldn't you?
Because
I feel like
ravens
they
can
don't
get
Yeah, I
intercepted.
feel like they don't trust. I don't know. I feel like I would trust a raven, but they don't. But I don't know.
I wouldn't trust a raven. What if it gets shot
Okay.
down?
No, they do. They like when there's like sieges, they shoot down ravens that are leaving like
Oh,
the
jeez.
ravenry and stuff. But I don't know. I didn't think that was a thing to be concerned about. But all right, after this, they walk to the edge.
They bring up the trees, right?
Yeah, Tyrion.
Well, I
Tyrion
mean,
Yeah, and
thinks
how
about
they're
Tyrion
like
just
far
gets-
back at the Castle Black, but other places they creep closer.
But just
and
again, like
I
how
thought-
fucking crazy would this be to be standing on a
Well,
the
yeah.
edge of a 700-foot ice wall while the wind's blowing, dude, and you're like a little dude, like you could just get blown over. You could get tossed off the wall. The wind
here's a
gusts.
question: Is there like things that are blocking the edge? Like what do they call it? Are they parapets?
Parapets?
Is that the right word? Yeah.
Yeah, parapet.
Are there? I don't know. I didn't picture it like
Is
that.
there like a ledge on it, or are you just like on
I
the
don't
fucking
picture a
edge?
ledge.
I don't
You're
picture
just-
a
I
ledge.
just
That's why they
picture a
don't.
ledge.
That's why they have like gravel and say like don't slip and shit. I always pictured there was no ledge.
Fuck that.
I know,
Fuck
right?
They're dumb.
I think there's
I
one
never
too
thought of that. They should have parapets. Why
Well,
don't
I
they
mean,
have
the thing is,
parapets?
the whole point is like you should be able to just like pour water on it and raise it higher. So how
So
do
they
you
probably have 'em.
maintaining
They probably
parapets
have
be
'em.
tricky that way?
Why not? You just make that higher. Make the edges higher
I
than the
guess
middle.
yeah, it might be easier. I don't know. Yeah, it'd be fucking creepy. The way I imagine is there's no parapets, but I don't know. It would make sense. But yeah, like the trees, what you guys are saying, they just keep them cut for a
Well,
mile
they
and a
use
half.
all the wood up there, but yeah, places are not well maintained, and people have cover getting to the wall. Is what they're saying. There's
And like
places.
they said, one person per 3.5 miles if they're guarding
Yeah.
everything. And John's only guarding a
no,
1
no,
mile section.
3.5
says.
people per mile.
Oh, 3.5 people per mile. Okay, because John's only guarding a
3
1 mile
1/3.
section. A 1 mile section.
Yeah,
Right
3
here.
1/3. You're right.
So there's got to be parts that are just unguarded sometimes.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And then John just brings up something about Benjamin being out there, and Tyrion says like give him time, he'll come back. A few wolves howl, and John's like if he doesn't come back, me and Ghost are gonna
Yeah,
go
oh,
find
yeah.
him.
He's like, I'm fucking going out there.
And then kind of call
Well,
back to
who's
his,
gonna find you, brother?
yeah, that's a callback to his talk with Mormont, right? Because Mormont's like, who am I gonna send after Benjamin? And then who am I
Yeah.
gonna send after them?
So here's the thing, though, right? Like, you're skipping over the part where Tyrion's like realizing that this is actually kind of terrifying up here.
Yeah,
and
it says for the
that
first time he's actually like,
this
he can
is
believe
like
the others.
there is shit coming. He like kind of feels it himself. It sounds like.
Well, he
so
says like all his jokes don't feel so jokey anymore. It feels like more.
Yeah,
real
like
now that he's,
like I
looking
can't.
out at it.
Like this isn't a joke.
Like this might actually be real. We
Yeah.
might need to send.
And he
people.
says there's like weirwoods creeping close. I always thought like the weirwoods are kind of like way more sparse than they make it seem in this chapter. Glow, Jeff?
Weirwoods creeping close in other areas, like
Yeah, but still, that
like
would mean that they're
unmanned
like kind of
towers.
dotted throughout the forest more than I thought.
The Weirwoods?
Yeah.
well,
I
it's
mean, I'm sure
down
they're-
south that they were all chopped down.
Yeah, I
in the
think
north
they're
they
a
were
pretty
kept
wild
alive.
tree.
There's a
It's
lot
like
more people
walking.
that-
Oh, that's an oak. That's a weird wood. I don't think it's pretty natural thing. I think.
I thought they were like way more like rare, but that's true. The forest would look
I
even
don't think they're-
crazier because they have blood red leaves. So you'd have like green and blood red leaves. It'd be all Christmassy all the time. It'd be dope.
That would be titties.
All right, final thoughts, Kyle.
Yeah,
Thoughts on
Cal,
the
any
chapter?
thoughts on it, bud?
What do you think, Kyle?
I mean,
Cal?
it just kind of painted the picture of what they're up against up north. Is what I would say. That's all I
Predictions
really
for
have.
Tyrion.
I mean,
Next
I don't
steps are
have
he's
any. I don't know.
obviously-
You asked me that last time, and I honestly, I
Well, we
don't
talked
have
about it
any.
today. He's going south. He's going to Winterfell.
Yeah,
What do you
Does
think's gonna
Winterfell
happen?
know? Does he? What happens at Winterfell? Good, bad for Tyrion, for the Starks?
I don't know. I mean, you kind of talked me out of them knowing because, like, I thought they knew until you were like, "Well, how would they get the message there that fast?"
They might. I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah,
And
you do.
the thing is, you could send a Raven, but what Glow said is a problem that they worry about a lot. They didn't actually say it yet, but it's a problem they do worry about.
Spoiler alert. Fuck
Yeah.
me.
Jesus,
I would say
Ruined.
spoiler
This book
because
is
it's like
ruined.
I don't know. It's never like really. I don't know if it's ever stated, but it's kind of like implied that you don't send Ravens.
Of important
like-
stuff. Yeah.
Not important stuff, but like secret stuff that nobody knows about.
Well, it's like how what's her name?
It's not confidential.
If it's like there's a
Lysa
war
sent
fucking
that-
here,
Well, Lysa sent that secret message.
Exactly.
To,
Yeah, through a box. Yeah.
yeah.
if the wrong hands get like find
Yeah.
it, you're screwed. And especially if they're trying to send a Raven from King's Landing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fair enough. I guess they don't know yet. Then. I don't know.
All right, next chapter. We're back in King's Landing with Arya. I think it's Arya's
it's
second
Arya.
chapter. I think it's a pretty short one too. So we're gonna leave Kyle there. We'll see him next time in Arya 2, and we're gonna continue on to the spoiler section.
Peace out, Cal.
See you, Kyle.
Later. Peace.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! All right, see you later,
It was
Kyle.
great hanging out with you, bud. Well, now on to the spoiler section of Tyrion 3 of Game of Thrones. Guys, what are your hot takes on the spoilers on this section?
All right,
What-
two things that I'm actually we're gonna jump back a chapter
Whoa!
that I think
Jump back.
because when we did the recording for the last one, I hadn't finished my notes, and I went through and finished it, and there was two things I wanted to talk about. So I just highlighted them in my notes, and we'll just go through and touch on them quick. I don't think either of them are long. I don't really remember what they are.
Oh, God. Here we go.
The
Glow.
one is when John or when Kat tells Ned, this is the Ned chapter, when Ned finds out about all the Bran shit that's going on. When Kat tells Ned about the wolf saving him, and he's like, it says he wonders if he's feeling guilt or fear. He wonders if the gods sent the wolves. So they think, and I'm saying that they think people are saying old gods, like Bloodraven is old gods, right? He's sending people dreams. He's doing kind of what people think the old gods do. Bloodraven send the wolves here.
Yes, I believe that. I believe the old gods had something to do with it.
So
I mean-
when you say old gods, do you mean Bloodraven? Because it's basically the same thing, right? When you're praying to a weirwood, you're praying to Bloodraven. He's the one that can see it. He's the one that's listening. He's the one sending you dreams.
I mean, we don't.
Is he
really
old gods
know.
Bloodraven? It's like I
We
think
don't
it's
know
the
that
same
there's
thing.
not
But
old
I don't
gods
think
as well.
Bloodraven's the one giving people powers. I don't think Bloodraven gave all the Starks the power to warg and all that.
Yeah, I think they're born with it, but he's like sending them dreams.
I think it's like a duo situation. There's actually old gods, and then there's fucking.
it's like a
Bloodraven
dyad.
also.
You could say it's a dyad in the Force.
Dyad
Yeah.
in the Force. There's
Yeah,
two
I just
people
think
working at it.
Bloodraven is a person that is acting through the gods. Like, I think the gods are still gods, kind of like a Greek mythology deal. Like,
I
there's.
think it's him. I think
Similar
he's
to
tricking
how
everyone.
Melisandre believes she's working through the Lord of Light. He is working through the old gods.
I don't see it that way. I see him
I-
as being
I
like a
agree.
big trickster, tricking everybody. He is the god. He's the one that can see. He's the one that sees what everybody prays.
Yeah,
I
but how did
disagree.
you
I'm getting a
create
beer.
6 fucking direwolf puppies for fucking...
Yeah, I don't know that, but I think
So
he's
I
behind.
think that's the old gods. He sees that coming. He's like, all right, I need to make sure that they find them.
But in the Bran
Make sure that
chapter,
each
yeah,
kid's
we were
get
talking
it.
about that. Him being behind it, and that's what Ned's saying here. That's what I'm saying.
I
There's
think
a
it's
parallel.
I think it's a diode, like you're saying, or whatever it's called, dyad.
It's like a parallel of like what we were saying before. From like, did he send these in the first chapter, and now Ned's thinking it too. So then the next thing that we skipped over the last time that I wanted to get back to was just a short quote. Let me see. I don't remember what it's about, so I'm gonna read it. It's 3 lines. He remembered Rhaegar's infant son, the red ruin of his skull, and the way the king had turned away as he turned away in Dairy's audience hall not so long ago. He could still hear Sansa pleading, as Lyanna had once pleaded. What does that mean? This is when he's talking about how he remembers how Robert turned away. This is like when Littlefinger's like, the king has turned away a lot. So he says he remembered Rhaegar's infant son, the red ruin of his skull, and the way the king had turned away. He remembered the way he had
left.
turned away in Dairy's audience hall not so long ago.
when they said that they had to kill the dog.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
could hear
that was their
Sansa.
song.
Then here's the quote: he could hear Sansa. He could still hear Sansa pleading, as Lyanna had once pleaded. What did Lyanna plead to Robert
I don't
about that he
know.
turned away for? Because at first it makes it seem like Lyanna
I
pleaded
think
to
Lyanna
Ned
pleaded to Ned
about like
a
John,
kid's
right?
life, about a
Yeah, about
kid's
the
life.
kid.
We're
Promise me,
assuming
Ned,
it's
right?
Sham.
But that totally
that
does not fit
doesn't-
in here.
That
That's what
doesn't
I thought
fit
too,
with
Glow.
what-
But that doesn't fit on the second read
It
when I was
doesn't
taking
fit with
notes.
Robert. Robert wasn't there.
Exactly. This has nothing to do with Robert. So why would you say that here? You're talking about things that Robert turned away from.
Because he sees him kill one baby. He killed a wolf. He wants to kill a Targaryen right now. If Jon Snow, or let's just say Lyanna's
true.
baby is Rhaegar's kid,
That's true. I see how that
Lyanna's
relates.
pleading like, "Yo, we know he's gonna kill the baby because he already killed 2 other babies."
Yeah, so his 2 examples of Robert being bad is Robert being okay with the Targaryen babies dying, and 2, him being okay with the Stark wolf dying, and that is Sansa pleads about the wolf, Lyanna pleads about the Targaryen babies to Ned though, saying Robert will do it because he already did it. Is that what you're saying, Glow?
Yes.
That makes sense, but I don't know. I wonder if there was something else that Lyanna. I don't know that upset Robert. That Robert did.
I
to
mean,
upset
is there a
Lyanna.
chance that Lyanna
Because he
already
went
knew
to
that?
He went to the tower after the babies got killed, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So Lyanna could have known that the Martell babies had died, right? Or Elliot Martell.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I almost think she definitely knew.
Yeah, and that's why she asked Ned to protect him.
I guess. So that's the pleading we're going with? Because that's what I thought at first. But then I read
That's
it back.
what I'm going with.
This seems like something. But I guess this is the same because Sansa didn't really plead to Robert either. Sansa pled to Ned, like, don't let him do it.
Yes.
So that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so again, this is Lyanna. So this probably gives us even more evidence that Lyanna was pleading about one of the kids. If you read between the lines, like we're just doing now, this is a complete comparison to the kids and the wolves, where they knew Robert killed one. Somebody's pleading to not let it happen. Robert was commanded to kill one, didn't want it to happen. Lyanna's pleading not to let it happen again. So this is proof that whatever Lyanna's pleas were about a kid. Because before, again, say we have never read this. So far, all we have is bed of blood, and now this kind of relates it to being a kid, right? So
yeah,
and whether it's John or Danny, I think it is yet to be seen. But
still don't think it's Danny.
All right, so that was all I have for last chapter, but I just noticed those 2 things and I wanted to get back to them. We've been having some short spoilers anyway, so pat it out. And this one, what do you guys got for this one?
I
have 2 things, but they're pretty small. And
I mean, we already talked about it a little bit, but Lord Aemon, Maester Aemon, King Tyrion, giant.
So I thought this one too.
Giant among us. So he's gonna have a huge
is there
impact.
really any spoiler about that?
So there's the reason I thought this was spoilery.
That's what he was saying though?
The reason I thought this could have been spoilery is there's quotes in the there's prophecies in the future that deal with a giant. When Arya is with the Ghost of High Heart, she predicts that Sansa will slay a giant. And people don't know what that means. Peter Baelish's sigil is a mockingbird, but his father's sigil, the Baelish sigil, because he made his own, but the Baelish sigil is the Titan of Braavos, which is kind of a giant, right? It's a giant statue. So people think that means Sansa's going to kill Littlefinger, but Tyrion gets called a giant a lot, right? If Sansa killed Tyrion, I would say that prophecy is fulfilled just off what people say here, like how Shay calls him Giant of Lannister, right? Like it's a running theme. It's not just here. Aemon calls him a giant here.
I thought Shay calls him the Lion of Lannister.
I think she calls him my Giant of Lannister.
She does call him a giant at times, for sure.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of themes with Tyrion being a giant.
She jokes around like you're a giant and me and shit like that.
And Sansa and Tyrion are kind of linked. They fucking get married, but they're kind of separated by where we are in the books now. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is somehow the Tyrion Sansa thing is Tyrion's the giant Sansa kills. That's what I thought was weird about this, is how much Tyrion gets compared to a giant for a person who's obviously not a giant. Did you guys have anything else that was weird about it?
I mean,
it's also, thought it was weird.
I mean, I think he's going to have a big impact on the whole Westeros, as he does. He kills Lord Tywin. He's going down to fucking Sansa or Daenerys. He's married. He technically is still married to Sansa. So when he comes back, he's going to be
Lord of Winterfell technically right now.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got a big old impact.
So,
All right, I'll buy it, but I think that's a little bit lame.
all right, the second part of this was Eamon says people never call him kind. And I kind of said this
Yeah,
when
that's
Kyle's
a
there.
weird fucking thing.
Eamon
Yeah,
It's
was,
gotta be just a joke. It's gotta be a joke.
I don't know. Is it? The way it was, it just seemed really weird. Knowing what we know now, it seems weird. If you read it for the first time, you'd be like, "Oh, I guess he's a dick," but it seems weird.
He seems like a nice guy.
And Glow, what do you think about?
I mean,
John going to
what
the
we know,
wall?
knowing what we know now, knowing what we know now about what that he wants to help Danny in the end, or
Knowing what we know now that he's not a dick and he's just like a pretty nice guy and he like is always helpful. And,
Yeah,
like,
I've never
never
seen
heard
him
him say a bad word about somebody.
Yeah,
all right,
Maester Aemon.
Yeah, it seems weird that he would say he's not kind.
Shit, I forgot to bring this up during the non-spoiler. Instead of dueling with swords, Tyrion duels with words. Like that's what was his thing earlier, and like
So let's talk
the
about
bird
Mormont's
croak
Raven.
and duel. He's like dueling with words instead of fucking dueling with a sword.
Let's talk about Mormont's Raven. Mormont's Raven says duel during that part, and then he says what? Fool.
Fool.
What's there's something about Mormont's Raven. We're gonna figure it out on this read through. What is going on with Mormont's Raven?
I don't think we're
Raven,
gonna figure it out.
Didn't we say earlier that we thought he was like a dead warg?
People think that either Blood Raven's controlling him, and he's able to talk through him.
No, I think I'd go. He's a dead warg. He's like a member of the Castle Black that died. That was a warg, and
it's an intelligent, like somewhat intelligent.
Here's one thing. There's again, I've seen a bunch of theories, but the one that I remember off the top of my head is right before they go to go in the ranging north. The Raven says like old and strong or something like that a lot when they're talking, because they're talking about Mormont. He's like, I'm old but I'm strong, and he says old and strong. And then when they get north, a bunch of people don't want to stop at the Fist of the First Men because it's kind of out in the open. Even though it's a good spot, they don't want to sit still. They want to keep moving, going north. But Mormont decides to sit there because it's old strong, and the Raven starts shouting old strong again. So people think like the first time the Raven was saying it was like kind of like inceptioning Mormont, like saying like, "Hey, stop here," which leads to them getting attacked, which like leads to a bunch of stuff. I get what you're saying, Jeff. It just seems like if it's gonna influence people, it makes more sense. If
Well,
it's, like,
also later
not
on
working
too,
for somebody, but you know what I mean, like on a side.
Mm-hmm.
And later on too, it also talking about Jon Snow. They talk about he like croaks king after he's brought up or something too.
Yeah, and like a lot of people think that he's tied to he can make people hungry. The crow can make, like, if the crow's hungry, he can push that on people because he like is a big part of the uprising at Craster's Keep. Even though they're literally roasting a horse and eating at that point everyone who's alive and well is eating a ton of food, and they start yelling that Craster's hiding like oats and barley. Like, you're literally eating a horse. You can't grab a bag of, like, sure, he might be hiding food, but you can't grab a thing of oats and barley. Right, but it seems like they get overcome by hunger, but they're literally eating food. People think it's because of the Raven. I think there's some other time the Raven makes people hungry. I don't know. Just it's weird. It doesn't seem to mean anything, but I don't know. Keep an eye out. I'm marking down every time the Raven talks my notes.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's something about the Raven.
And especially sweet. You notice the Raven talking.
The Raven's mentioned way too much, and he talks way too much.
What do you mean? He just says like one word every time.
Yeah, but he's like too involved in the passages to be nothing. Like you said, that gun thing. Like, why bring him up? Why have him all the time if he doesn't actually?
Okay, that's right. I thought you were like pissed he was brought up. I was like, why are you pissed?
No. Yeah, I got you. So the last thing I had is about Ghost. And I think Ghost is like kind of calling. I think Tyrion has a little bit of a Warg connection because I think he might be. I don't know if it's because he's Targaryen or what, but I think he's had a little bit of a Warg connection a couple times in the books, and I think the first one might be here. He said as soon as he leaves the hall, he's talking about how fucking cold it is and how he can't wait to get back to his bedroom, and he hopes that like his like servant guy put the fire on because he's fucking freezing. Then he decides to ride up on this rickety ass winch to the top of the fucking freezing ass wall. And it's not like he's planning to go talk to Jon. He doesn't know Jon's fucking up there, right? He just has a crazy urge when he's walking across the castle yard. I think it has something to do with Ghost. When he gets up there, he gets to the path and he like looks out to the east and looks out to the west. And he's like, I'll go west.
All right, let me just stop you there, okay? And we'll keep going because I know you're gonna say a lot. You think Ghost is like mind fucking him to do all this shit. If you ever go to a spot where you're probably never going to go again, and you know you're leaving tomorrow, wouldn't you try and get like one last look?
Yeah, I mean, even when I go to the beach, which
that's
I go
all I'm
to,
saying.
like,
you're
gonna
try and go out and go out to the beach one more time, even if it's at night, and even if you can't see shit, you still go. All right, everyone's done that,
Especially when you're drunk.
especially when you're drunk. Then he does look down the path, and he said the one to the west has more rock. It just means he's not going to slip and fall.
I get you, and
All right,
I think
keep going.
you're
I just
right.
wanted to play devil's advocate a little bit.
I mean, I don't have much more besides the way they interact when they like get to each other. Like, the first thing is John says like halt, right? And Tyrion says, "Oh, hi, Ghost." He doesn't say hi, John. The first thing he says is hi, Ghost. Right? How's that passage go?
I think Ghost, like, he says he swiftly comes out of nowhere and sees him first.
I mean, you could very
I'm wrong.
easily.
He does.
Comes
He
up
does
to
say
him.
John anyway. John says halt. Tyrion stopped. If I halt too long, I'll freeze in place. John, he said. He said as a shaggy, pale shape slid forward silently and sniffed his furs. Hello, Ghost. I don't know. I think Ghost has something to do with it. It's kind of weird, Tyrion's. And I see what you're saying about going to the top.
So this is one of my questions out here. Did the old gods affect him going to the wall at night?
I think
know
it's
what
through
Jeff just
Ghost.
said makes sense. I like Jeff's devil's advocate there. That makes sense to me. I don't think it's. Why would it be through Ghost? I don't think he has a connection to Ghost.
But
John
here's
does.
the thing, Glow. Here's the thing. Here's the reason I think we get Ghosts in the Wolves. And I had thought about this earlier, and I couldn't think about it when you were saying that earlier. The wall blocks all magic. So I think he needs, like, Bran doesn't start getting visions till he's got Summer, right? None of their shit starts happening. Like, they're not getting any dreams or anything until there's animals in play. I think the animals are his connection south, right? Like the wolf. You're right that it's like kind of the wolves doing their own thing, but he can get a connection to the wolves through the wall, and then the wolves can pass it on. I don't know. I think it's some shit like that.
I don't know, man. How does Melisandre get her magic? How do the fucking
The
candles
thing
get
is,
their
Melisandre
magic?
doesn't have that many magic. We find out in her one chapter that a lot of it is just
She
like
does, man. Yeah, but
the
how'd
one
she
thing
get
that-
fucking demon baby?
the demon baby is the one thing that we're not really sure about. But besides demon babies and dragons, there's like not really magic in these books that like we're sure of, except for like the telepathy thing, which I think is the main one. But either way, I'm just saying I think it's really weird. Like, where's the pass? Hold on, let me find the passage where Tyrion decides that he's gonna go up to the wall because it's weird. And I was like, was Ghost doing something? Yeah, here we go. Behind the king's tower, the wall glimmered in the light of the moon, immense and mysterious. Tyrion stopped for a moment to look up at it. His leg ached of cold and haste. Suddenly, a strange madness took hold of him, a yearning to look once more at the edge of the world. It would be his last chance, he thought. Tomorrow he would ride south and could not imagine why he would ever want to return to this frozen desolation. The king's tower was before him, with its promise of warmth and a soft bed. Yet Tyrion found himself walking past it, toward the vast palisade of the wall. I don't know. I mean, now after what Jeff said, it makes sense, but I think it's weird.
I think something drew him there too, but I think it was more the old gods somehow affecting him compared to Ghost or drunkenness.
All right. That's cool. And then the thing that is what's weird is, I guess maybe not weird, but doesn't Tyrion end up giving Bran like a dope saddle?
Yeah.
When Jon's asking Tyrion like help my brother,
Designed for one.
why does he not? Yeah, but why does he not like think about that?
Because I don't think
at the
he's
time?
thinking of him.
I think
riding.
on the
think he
way
just-
down
literally
to
just is like,
Winterfell, he
"Just
starts
help me.
reading through
Just
books
please
and it's
help
like,
him."
hey.
Well, I thought he said he made it for himself a long time ago to help himself ride. Maybe once he's in his, maybe once he's like in his
once
saddle,
he starts,
he's like
he's thinking about it.
he's like literally
"Alright, what-
sitting
what-"
in it. He's like, oh, this would be great for Bran. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
that makes sense. All right, I don't know anything else unless you guys do. Ghost is silent again. There's a part where the wolves howl out off beyond the wall, and Ghost just doesn't do shit.
Yeah, I mean, Ghost is silent. That's
Yeah,
typical Ghost. The one thing I had,
Ghost snarled in the show though.
which
Yeah,
is
it's 'cause the
bullshit.
show's BS.
My one question / like point here is the Lord Commander, like in his conversation with Tyrion, he's talking about who's going to lead and all that. He has no plan for Jon at this point. It
No.
seems like
You're right, and
Like,
the
he like Tyrion brings up Lord Snow or says Snow, and he's like, "Who? Oh, the Stark boy." Like,
Yeah,
he
so-
had, like not even in his thoughts at this point.
one of the theories that you just reminded me of that I've heard that we should look out for in the upcoming Jon chapters is so they're about to do the thing where Jon becomes a member of the Night's Watch, but Sam isn't even here yet, right? So he's
Yeah.
in a different recruiting class.
That's
Jon talks to Aemon. He's like, "Hey, get Sam in. Like he won't be good without us. Like me, Gren, and Pip are taking care of him. If we get moved out, Sam's fucked." Mormont doing that is what I think is like. Mormont talks to
Aemon.
Aemon talks to Mormont and is like, "Yo, Jon has like a good head on his shoulders. He might be the guy you're looking for." Right? Maemon's obviously looking for a guy to take up his mantle. There's something that Jon does that impresses Mormont, right? That gets him as the steward, and people think it's that, and people think John gets that idea from Ghost, right? Because I think it's like everything. John's thinking about how Sam's gonna be fucked. Ghost comes up, and then John goes and talks to Aemon, something like that. So again, keep an eye out for it, but nothing big here.
I don't think Ghost has mental powers like that, man.
It's not like he's like obviously not reading their minds, but he's influencing them some way.
Yeah,
I
but
think.
hell, it's the same way with the Crow. I don't think he's influencing hunger.
I've got a question. When it's along the same thing. When Mormont said like, "I know who Bowen Marsh and Alistair are," isn't Bowen Marsh like a good guy? Like
He might not be a good leader though.
Bowen Marsh is the one that stabs John. He's like, the
Oh,
one that
really?
leads the
Oh, I'm
revolt
thinking
on
of
John.
I was thinking of
Bowen Marsh and Arthur
the armory guy with one arm.
Donald Noy.
Donald Noy.
Yeah, Bowen
Like,
Marsh and Arthur Yarwick are the ones that end up
What do you
stabbing
think
John.
he
But they do
meant?
seem
Like
pretty
they're
good
just
at
like
their job for a while.
douchebags? Yeah. I mean,
No,
I don't-
Bowen Marsh and Arthur Yarwick, both the guys who kind of lead the revolt on John, seem like pretty good guys. Bowen Marsh is Lord Stewart, so he's in charge of like keeping the counts of the food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think they're both up for election when John wins election, but they seem like decent dudes.
Yeah, so I'm just curious about like Mormont must not actually like him. Like, why would he help make him? I mean, I guess it's the best of what they got at the moment.
What do you mean?
but-
Just because he's overlooking them for this position?
Well, he just like they're already in like pretty high positions, but he doesn't like. I know what they are. Like, what does that mean? I don't. What,
Just
do you,
like
what
not
are
good,
they?
not good leaders. I don't know. It's like when you go
But
with
they're-
outside
but they're
hire
in-
instead of promoting from within. Doesn't mean that the people you have are bad, or else you'd have fired them. It just means that they're not good, like, good for the next roll up or whatever. I don't know. I don't think it's super weird. I think it makes sense once we get to know them more. None of them are like geniuses or anything. God bless you.
Yeah. I
Thank
guess.
you.
All right, but that's all I got for this chapter. Next one's Arya, and I'm pretty sure it's the Arya one where she's
in,
down there. She's
the
chasing
skulls.
cats. Right? Did she meet?
Oh, is it this one?
No. She probably meets because she has to meet Syrio first.
Yeah.
So it's probably just her meeting Syrio. Then we got Danny. All right, end of the chapter. Unless you guys got anything else.
No,
I'm good on
I
my
don't
end.
really- I didn't think it was a very spoilery chapter.
Nah,
Yeah,
and,
no.
and again, hopefully we're getting back into it. We've been kind of out of sync for a little while. I'm about to take in better notes.
I
Got
got
to
a
record on schedule.
I got a rough week and a half coming up though. I'm in Florida and Nashville.
We're good. We got 2 scheduled, so we'll have to figure one out. But we're good for the next two Mondays.
Good luck.
All right, but with that,
Mondays.
that's when.
Next-
the
Oh,
I
episode
got
comes
you.
out, bro.
Next
Yeah,
Friday I
drop
get
on
back
Mondays.
from Florida. And that's about like the only I leave for Nashville on Saturday.
So we might have to do it on Friday.
Yeah.
All right.
You
We'll see.
you coming in? You bringing your laptop down to Florida, dude?
No.
All right, everyone.
All
The night's dark and full of terrors. Go
See you
birds.
guys next time.
And
Thanks for listening. Give us a review
Bye.
if you're still listening on iTunes and made it this far. Give us a review. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.